At the end of World War II, General Patton did not celebrate victory. He looked around and said, all we did was trade one threat for an even bigger one. And the greatest threat to the United States was already inside it. He was a complex character, to say the least. But perhaps the most interesting and profound part of his story has been written out of history almost entirely. And that is the massive change of heart he had about both sides in World War II. After leading an army to victory in that war, he developed radically different opinions about Germans, Soviet communists, and most infamously, about Jews. One of the incidents that upset him most was when he was ordered to hold back when he was on the verge of taking Berlin. In a letter to his wife, who he was very close to, he wrote, "We have destroyed what could have been a good race, and we are about to replace them with Mongolian savages. Now all of Europe will be communist." It's said that for the first week after they took it, all the women who ran were shot, and those that did not were raped. I could have taken it instead had I been allowed. After having been impressed by the conduct of the Germans and extremely dismayed by the conduct of the Soviet communists, who of course were US allies, his change of heart was so extreme that he publicly declared the unthinkable, that the United States had fought on the wrong side of that war. There are some variations of this disputed quote, but he is claimed to have come to the inexcusable conclusion that we fought on the wrong side of this war. We should have fought with the fascists against the communists, and not the other way around. How could the US have been so misled that they fought on the wrong side of history's greatest conflict? Well, for Patton, it was a result of powerful Jewish influence over the American media and the Roosevelt administration. He wrote on 3 separate occasions, "There is a very apparent Semitic influence in the press. All that writing is done by the Jews to get revenge. Actually, the Germans are the only decent people left in Europe. If what we are doing to the Germans is liberty, then give me death. I can't see how the Americans can sink so low. It is Semitic, and I am sure of it." He was so distressed by what he had been a part of, and the fact that virtually no Americans understood what they had been manipulated into, that he declared his intent to resign from the army and enter politics, with the mission of exposing this great travesty to the American people. In a diary entry of May 1944, he wrote, "If they will let me fight, I will, but if not, I will resign so as to be able to talk, and then I will tell the truth, and possibly do my country more good." In December of 1945, he wrote to his wife that he would be home for Christmas and then retire. But instead, he was killed by complications from a vehicle accident that happened only 4 days later, after just having survived the most brutal war in world history. So was this a simple accident, or the assassination of America's most famous general, right before he blew the lid off the fact that America had sacrificed its sons so that Jewish communists could take over Western Europe, and then eventually the United States? Let me know what you think in the comments, and you know what? Drop your favorite Patton quote in there too.